Hello, and thank you for watching another one of my videos. Today I'll be extending part 1 and talking about how to play Infected in Left 4 Dead 2 versus specifically, well, only mode you can play Infected, but you know what I mean. I'll be going through some very nice things to know that the game just doesn't teach you because it doesn't have tutorials. So I'll be teaching you basic stuff, nice stuff to know, how to play Infected properly, and the rest should come to you naturally as you play. Again, thank you for watching my video, and I hope you learned something, even if you're an advanced player. General rules for Infected. For the most part, it's kind of the same as Survivor. You kind of want to stick with your team. Do not spawn alone unless a unique opportunity presents itself. I'll talk about that more later, but you want to spawn with your team because you can get more damage in since other people are distracted by your other teammates or pinned by your other teammates. So if you just go in alone as a jockey, you're going to get shoved and killed immediately unless they suck. But if a charger goes in and knocks two over and then a hunter goes in, then you can go in as a jockey and now they're boomed. You can get a lot of damage done unless you just waste your jockey just simply going in by yourself. So even if if you even have the ability to spawn in, you can spawn in, but should you really? I mean, only one of their teammates able to spawn in right now. It's really not a good idea. You should just wait till your full team can spawn in, unless it's unique situation. Um, One of those being is a charger. If there's a death charge available, a spot on the map where you can charge them off, you may want to take it depending on the map. Mm-hmm. But do that at your own discretion because you'll be even further desynced from your team now, and you just in general will have to wait longer to spawn in with your team, and you might get yelled at a little bit. But that's pretty much try not to get desynced. Another opposite of that is if you're still alive and your teammates are dead, look at your health. If you have full health or close to full, either wait till they go away and run backwards, and you can hit E to respawn. This will put you back in the spawning mode, and then you can spawn in like normal. You do keep your same health, and you do keep the same charge time. So, if you're waiting for your tongue to come back as a smoker, you still have to wait that time when you respawn. It will keep going while you're waiting in spawn mode, though. So, if you're like 5 HP, don't just sit there and wait and wait and wait and wait and then go in and die, because now you're desynced from your team and now they have to wait on you to get a good damage hit in. So play your life correctly. Don't just sit there and play it too long, but also try to stay alive at the same time. Just you'll find a balance for it as you play. I want to start with the hunter. Hunter has a mechanic where the longer distance, or more like the speed you build up from pouncing, does damage. Obviously, the further you pounce from, the more speed you'll have from falling, more damage you're going to get, up to a maximum of 25. Pretty big. If you can time it right, you get free 25 damage. Pretty nice. But you're kind of a distraction infected, in my opinion at least. Once the hunter starts pouncing, everyone kind of focuses on the hunter and they try to shoot him. But you can wall bounce with the hunter by just facing the opposite way of the wall and pouncing. You'll learn that as you play hunter. Can't really explain that too well to you, but you're kind of just a tack on damage. A big thing about the hunter is you have the highest damage in the game. If you pounce a survivor, you will incap them stupidly quickly, like stupid. Your damage is actually more if you're on fire. So if you're on fire, pounce someone, you'll do more damage. Highest punishing infected. If you see a survivor off in a room, even if it's like 10 to 12 seconds away from the other survivors, you'll get a good chunk of damage on that survivor. And if your teammates spawn in to land more, you'll probably get a knock. So very important as hunter. You're kind of just looking for a situation to play off of. You're not really the first person to go in. Next one, Boomer. Arguably the hardest infected in the game to play. You don't have a lot of health. You die pretty quick. You can get shoved away. You gotta spawn somewhere where you can surprise the survivors. One of the best spots is above. If you can get on a building, what you can do is back up as far as you can from the edge where the survivors are near, and speed towards the edge they're at, jump, and spawn in. You want to do this a good 10 or so feet so you can actually spawn in the air. The reason you jump is to conserve momentum, and you come flying down at the survivors, and then you can explode on them. So either you could start booming when you hit the floor, or they'll pop you in the air and goo everybody. So you can do it that way. You can spawn in some spots. You just really map dependent on how good the boomer is. But boom is very important. It can dismantle even the best teams. Very important for the beginning of the push. If a boomer hits first and then a charge goes through and everyone else goes through, you'll get some big damage for sure. So boomer's very important. Alright, next infected, jockey. In no particular order, but the jockey's pretty nice. Once you jump on a survivor, which you don't have to left click to do. He does a little hop, but as long as you have a higher elevation than a survivor and you drop onto them, you will latch onto them as long as your ability's charged. So if you're on a building above, you don't have to jump down. You can just walk off and fall onto them and you'll grab them. Jockeys are honestly super important. They can drag someone away really far. They have low damage, but they can really separate a team, pull them off a ledge, all the above. Jockey's pretty nice and versatile person. Not a lot of tips for the jockey, but try to sneak in a right click. Try to claw them as you jump. So hit the jump button and claw, and you'll get enough, like 4 extra damage as you latch onto them. So pretty nice, builds up over the match, and it's very important. Another part of the jockey, when you're typically going in, you're going in after the boomer or the charger or whoever started the charge, and you're going to be picking off someone who's kind of out of place. You don't have to be too out of place because they should be distracted, but someone you can take somewhere fast. That's what you're looking for. Next infected I want to talk about is the charger. You're probably either the first or second person in, and you're going to be wanting to be in corridors or choke points or places where you can do a lot of damage by colliding with a lot of survivors. You have to just suffer and take one, but try to go for hallways, close quarter areas where they have to go through in single file, and you can knock them all over, and then a spitter can come in and clean up for you. So very important. Another tip for him is to scratch. Right click. His right click is powerful, super powerful. His right click scratch does 10 damage a scratch. It's super powerful. If someone gets smoked and pulled to the side and the other team's kind of distracted, spawn in and scratch that survivor while they're sitting there. 10 damage a scratch, free knock. Next person to come up, you charge them. So free damage. You can even do it right before you charge. Just right click charge, and then as you're charging and moving at them, it'll hit them. So pretty nice. Get free easy damage. And why not? It's 10 free damage. Next one being the smoker. So with the smoker, your objective is kind of weird. You're the sniper infected. You can get someone from a range. One of your biggest friends being high ground. On both sides, if you can pull someone down to off of high ground, do massive damage, or make them hang onto the ledge, effectively encapping them. But you're good at pulling someone from their team and causing chaos depending on the map, or setting up for insta kills by the charger. You can just pull them towards a ledge, charger charges them, free kill. But for the most part, you're not going in first. You're definitely going in third or fourth. You're going in after the initial hit. You're gonna smoke someone away. Typically, whoever's not already distracted, so you just pull them away. Your right click is meh at most, but you should really be focusing on smoking someone in. The spitter, one of the highest damaging infecteds. Very, very important to have someone who understands spitter on your team, or all of you too, but very important to understand spitter. Spitter is not someone who just goes in first. Spitter is someone who plays off the other infected. Think of her as a support infected. Whenever someone goes in and charges, you should be the one to spit on them once they're done. So if a charger charges through the enemy team, you spit on them to increase the damage. That's what you're doing. The longer your spit is out, the more damage it starts to do, so you'll notice it does like really bad damage when it's first out, but once it's been out for a few seconds, it ramps up to really high damage per second when they're standing in it. And they can't move if they're pinned by a charger, or if they're pinned by a hunter or a smoker, so use those guys to help you get stupid high damage. You're pretty much the support. You're never going in first. should never really be spawning and doing anything by yourself unless they're kind of just sitting in a corner and hoarded so they can't move. Next special, the tank. Tank is one of the most powerful special infected in the game. Reason that he gets a lot of bad hate is because people don't understand how to play him. He's kind of designed to just run in and smack people, which is what you think. You know, you're a big old tank. But then you're going to get a little on fire, then a shotgun's going to absolutely melt you, and you're dead. So, here's the thing about playing tank. If you hit tab or hold tab, you'll be able to see what the enemy team has. You can see if they have any Molotovs. You heavily want to avoid these or try to bait these out before you go in, because if you're on fire, they just run from you and you die. So, don't do that. You also kind of want to wait for your team to do something. Just sit back and throw rocks from a high vantage point or somewhere where you have cover and a high vantage point, and get free damage in until a boomer booms somebody, or the team, or a charger goes in, or someone does something to heavily separate them or cause them to be distracted. So you want to play rock tank, sit there, throw rocks from somewhere until you can notice that someone is lower than 40 HP, because a full health survivor can outrun you, and as they shoot you, you slow down more. So you can't just go in, wait till someone's low on health, as if by your rocks or by someone else doing something, or if people are boomed, there's no Molotov. So once you see that the team is distracted, someone's low on health, they don't have a Molotov, and they're just having a shit time, that's when you go in as tank. Even if you pass tank, like you let someone else take control because you took too long, let that happen, because that gives you more time. Your objective as tank is not really to kill all the survivors. You're supposed to be delaying them from getting through the level. If that's to prevent them from ending a panic event, if that's to prevent them from reaching the level, or just prevent them from getting further into the level whatsoever, that's your goal. You kind of sit there as the rock. You don't let anyone through, because they have to get through you. And if you don't, run in and die immediately. They have to spend more time with the zombies. You have to spend more time with the infected, more time with your teammates, taking more and more damage by your rocks, stuff like that, and they will die eventually. Not saying you're going to kill them every time, but hopefully you'll get some damage and your team can do something. Also, if you're a tank and you see you're about to be tank and you already have your special infected, go ahead and spawn them in so you get a free AI of whatever you had. Tank can also punch people stupidly far. Just use that to punch people off ledges or do other dumb stuff and absolutely fling them off the map. So do that as you can. I almost forgot to mention the biggest part of Tank, and that is his toys. So you may be confused, but his toys are stuff he can punch to fling at survivors. Cars, pallet jack drivers, forklifts, whatever you want to call them. They will instantly knock down a survivor if you hit them, possibly killing the entire team in one hit. They go through all the survivors. If you're in an area with, they'll be outlined in red, cars will, and you can just punch them out of survivor. That's all you gotta do. If you crouch, they'll go more on the floor, but the higher up you aim as you hit it, which you can aim pretty far up, and it'll still hit the car, it'll go flying. So always use those when you get the chance. They do massive damage, and it just allows you to do stupid things as tank. These heavily allow you to just get more and more and more damage than just running in with your fist or just rocks. So always look for your toys to play with. They help a lot. Remember, always stick with your team. Play with your team on either side of the playing field. The more you play, the better you'll get. So most of the stuff is just experience. I can only tell you so much. Other stuff you just gotta learn by yourself. But stick with your team, play with your team, play off choke points correctly on either side, play off witches on both sides. Just be careful on both sides. You want to make sure you maximize damage or you minimize it depending on the side. Be careful of witches, choke points, ladders, other things that you can utilize to either take a lot of damage or deal a lot of damage. So be careful on what you do. Anyways, thank you for listening to my video. If you made it this far, I really do appreciate it. You have a blessed day, and like and sub if you'd like to. It's up to you.